fine. I guess it's time to start. Tell me, do a countdown.
All
Oh,
right,
you introing or am I introing?
you can intro.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go to.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Couch Dimension podcast. We open on some solemn news. TinyBigDude has been lost to the cushions. He's somewhere in there. We can only hope he's alive.
I have his shoe. It's the one thing they didn't take.
How'd you end up with the shoe?
When you started to slip in, I tried to grab him, and I grabbed the shoe. It's kind of right up the
Rookie
shoe.
mistake. Rookie mistake.
I
Well,
know. Go for the ankles.
in his absence, we're going to turn into an Elon Musk podcast. So let's talk about that Cybertruck, baby.
Cybertruck, cryptocurrency. Don't get a Cybertruck. End of
Neuralink.
podcast.
That's it. Okay, I'm done with this bit. I'm done with this bit. I'm tired of it already. I couldn't remember Neuralink, and I don't even care enough. Cybertruck can take your finger off. I know that. That's fun to know.
Absolutely. I saw that too.
That
Smush
car.
some carrots. Do not put your fingers
Oh
on the
yeah, I
trunk.
saw that. Okay, we saw the same thing. Okay. So this is going to be the epic sode for the most part, with also Dragon's Dogma talk, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Let's talk about Epic first.
You know what? Before anything else, I should probably introduce us. I'm Captain, and this is Red.
I'm the red one.
And also the skeleton one.
That's also true.
And I am an IP non-specific character, so it's all good.
Non-specific. Exactly. Definitely not two things smushed together.
No, definitely not. So Epic did a or had their was it state of Unreal and showed off a bunch of stuff. This is gonna be an Epic heavy one. So I guess let's just dive in. So Epic showed off some updates to the Unreal Engine. A lot of cool stuff, honestly. But I don't know. I have some wariness, or I'm gonna go ahead and open with this rather than bookend, or rather than putting off later. It's really tough for me to get too excited for a lot of things Epic is doing. When I see things like back in September, they laid off 830 people. And I don't know, maybe I'm just starting to think that maybe it's not responsible to report, hype news and stuff without really putting out in front, that the harm that exists, the bad things they've done, because I don't know, just saving it as a last minute throwaway doesn't really feel appropriate,
You mean to tell me Epic is not epic?
Far from it most of the time.
Far from.
But and I will go ahead and say, also on front, I guess I want to open with Apple and Epic continuing to fight. I want to touch on it just a bit, just so that we can, check that off the list. It won't be a glaring omission, but we'll probably dig in a lot more when Tiny is back, since he is far more of our expert when it comes to legal matters. But in short, March 7th, Epic had its account banned from Apple's App Store. And they were cited as verifiably untrustworthy by Apple.
What does that even mean from Apple, though?
Let me see. And Epic's egregious breach of its contractual obligations to Apple led courts to determine that Apple had the right to terminate any or all of Epic Games' wholly owned subsidiaries, referring to the antitrust case back in 2021 that they won over Epic. And yeah, they said in light of Epic's past and ongoing behavior, Epic chose to exercise that right. Now, this was countered by Epic saying that, or Epic saying that it was a serious violation of the Digital Markets Act within the EU, and the EU then began to investigate Apple, which led to the following day the account was unbanned.
Look, you just get the government involved, and Apple gets scared.
So I do feel like there's a lot more to talk about here, but I don't know that we're the ones to talk about it. But I kind of wanted to go ahead and float it because I think it's especially. I think Epic's pulling some, let's say, dick moves out here. Like Tim Sweeney, head of Epic, keeps talking shit on Twitter about the situation. But one of the things they brought up in their announcements was that they reiterated. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is why I'm not allowed to leave the podcast. Should say that was all from I am citing a Eurogamer article, EU investigating Apple's block of Epic developer account. I need to get around to putting these in the show notes so I don't have to cite them as I go through every time. Anyways, they reiterated that they want to put the Epic Store on mobile and Apple devices by the end of the year. Which I can't help but feel is them prodding just a little bit more at Apple because like things are tumultuous, and for them to be like, yeah, we're gonna have it out. We still plan to have the store out by the end of the year on Apple feels like a dig.
Yeah. Uh, there's a lot to be said though for the fact that there is no other, shall we say, legal and recognized storefronts on iOS.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is all getting very strange. And at the end of the day, I have no love for either. Like, Epic and Apple are doing, see, this is why, once again, I'm not the legal guy. Can't remember. Isn't it like a 12% cut from sales on all sales
Oh,
through
Apple.
iPhone
I believe
apps?
Apple takes a 33% cut.
33%, sorry. And Epic won or was trying to skirt around that. And yeah, it blew up into this debacle. And I just don't really care who wins it. Like, Epic is far more cringy about it, in my opinion, because they've spent their time like trying to do a thing of like fight for the gamers. No, you want us to
Yeah,
fight for you. You're a big company. I don't
yeah.
care. Get
Like
the
this is unfortunately we have a agent of darkness championing a good cause here. If we could get more storefronts on iOS, that would be great. That would be phenomenal. However, the way Epic is and the way they talk and the way they act does not feel great.
yeah.
Witness.
Um. So I guess we've gotten some of the well, not all the bad news out of the way first. In the interest of, as I said earlier, kind of maybe trying to hold people to account a little bit more, at least like bring up the problems first. Back in 2023, one of the companies owned by Epic that suffered a ton due to their layoffs was Mediatonic, the developers of Fall Guys. Studio stayed alive, but it's a huge blow to them. It really sucked. Um, so I'm going to choose to bring that up when opening that Fall Guys is coming to Fortnite. And now we are out of the news news that bothers me more, and we can get into stuff that's interesting to me. Some would maybe argue partially exciting. So Fall Guys is coming to Fortnite, and players are going to be able to create Fall Guys experiences. This kind of goes along with we already had Rocket League assets in there, and they had the rocket races that players could develop, and the Lego experiences. Not to, yeah, there was also just default Fortnite, which you could do a ton with. This is pretty cool to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like as I, it's interesting to see Unreal like kind of start unifying things under Fortnite. It's everyone knows, but like it continues to be the clearest thing in the world that Fortnite is the most important property at Epic right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
Getting
any doubt.
getting more games to play at the same place. I'm definitely for.
Now, I believe, or not, I believe, Fort or Fall Guys will continue to exist as its own game. Rest in peace. Sorry, audio listeners, but Red has put an icon of Tiny's missing or remaining shoe.
This is all I have left of him. I will honor it.
That's weird. Why is there appears to be saliva in this?
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, Metonic has said that, and I quote from Eurogamer. I sourced a lot from Eurogamer this week. Eurogamer's Fall Guys support to continue despite game assets and characters coming to Fortnite. That they, or what was it? When asked about if we started Fall Guys development over today, we do it inside Fortnite. When asked, if it would ever solely exist Fortnite, but we are where we are, and we don't have anything to announce right now. So
it's not like an acquisition, right? Or is it?
No.
Were they already owned by Epic?
They are owned by Epic, but at this time, Fall Guys will continue to exist as Fall Guys. Much in the same way Rocket League continues to exist as Rocket League, but it has its assets in there now.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how this is going, and I do have to wonder, like, especially with we don't have anything to announce right now. I don't know. I wonder if they will get rolled in eventually. In the article, they were talking about, they do believe in the power of Fortnite and things like that. And I genuinely don't know if we're just getting straight PR speak or if they would be fine with being rolled into Fortnite. Fortnite's so strange. It's kind of a Frankenstein to me.
Yeah.
Fortnite, as it exists, is a multiplayer mode that blew up. It blew up so hard that the single player is a side mode that sometimes they kind of try to push, but no one really cares about that nearly as much as the multiplayer. And now we've got Lego, Fortnite, and all these other modes. And on one hand, I get that Fortnite is a strong brand. Is also a brand that makes no sense in terms of what does the name of the game even mean anymore in correlation to people playing it? I guess build mode, it makes sense, but have you ever touched the single player?
I turned it on one time and turned it off because it immediately feels very different.
I think it's because the multiplayer has been touched up so much, but the single player hasn't. So it feels far closer to original Fortnite. I mean, it is original Fortnite, but yeah. But I do have to wonder if one day, like, will they hit a breaking point of like we gotta rebrand? I don't know what you rebrand to. I don't even know if that would be a wise decision or not, just due to name recognition. But like, as time passes, it definitely gets stranger. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Quick, rebrand it for me. What name you got?
Rebrand Fortnite?
Yeah, you gotta name this new umbrella platform that it's becoming. What is it?
Five Night.
Fuck. Well, it's Five Night. I can't beat that. Um,
We do our best
but
here. We are creatives at heart.
we are. Well, there's a point to that because part of the reason I bring up that like a breaking point could happen where they might want to rebrand. Breaking point sounds like I think the game's gonna fall apart. I think it's doing fine. That's not really what I mean. But I just want to go ahead and cite there was another. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say this week pulled articles or we're reporting on articles from IGN, The Verge, and Eurogamer. Because I'm going to drive myself insane remembering mid sentence that I want to cite things. So I wanted to bring up that when showing off Unreal Engine or showing off the state of it, they showed off some improvements to the Unreal Engine for Fortnite, and they are partnering with a another technology, MetaHuman, to create realistic looking player models in realistic environments. And I don't know if you've seen any of this, Red. Are you aware of any of this?
Not exactly, but Unreal doing high fidelity stuff isn't like, well, alarming's not the
It's
word, but
not strange to do, but
man, I can't wait to see the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time versions we get out of
yeah.
this.
But if you could, just for fun live reaction, I posted the article there in the chat, group chat, and I want you to tell me how strange it would be for you to see environments that look like the ones in that article. And the demo is called Talisman. And
Why
to
is
be able to see places like that in Fortnite.
why is the main picture multi-man melee?
That's just
Oh, this was the Marvel thing, right?
no, that's not the Marvel thing.
Oh, that's not the Rise of Hydra thing. Never mind.
Oh, there's a thing there. You have to enable cookies. Ignore that.
Yeah, the State of Unreal, first glimpse at Captain America Black Panther game.
No, keep scrolling. Man, I should have thought this out more.
You should have thought this out more because it is not immediately popping out at me
The
what I'm
one
supposed
that
to be
looks
looking at.
like Cyberpunk and Starfield had a baby.
Oh,
Yeah,
the actual
weird,
images,
right?
actual images here. Hmm. They,
That
they,
would be like you see why that would be for audio listeners. These, like I said, it kind of looks like a crossover of Cyberpunk and Starfield. It's realistic, like high fidelity images. And yeah, it doesn't look at all like the stylized world of Fortnite. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that world. Like it's got a lot of charm to it, and I don't think they have any interest in getting rid of that. But it's interesting more and more. It's they want to make Fortnite a platform for all of their mainline things, it seems, or titles, or at least I guess what gets designated to fall under there, like Fall Guys and Rocket League, are kind of their own. Thank you for pulling that up, Red.
Give the
Um,
viewers at home an idea of what we're talking about.
Audio listeners, I'm sorry, you're still fucked.
You're
But
still fucked.
video viewers, you can now see what we're discussing. Yeah, and they want to be able to bring content like that to allow users to make experiences like that. Now, as a
The word users is not doing enough for me to believe a
well,
user's
players
making
doesn't
this.
feel right, but creators isn't either. So I had to go users.
I feel like the word you're looking for is uh, unpaid game developers
Well,
or amateur game
no,
developers.
not quite actually. Amateur maybe, but unpaid, not so much. Epic announced that they would have, they're announcing the Creator Economy 2.0. Currently, creators get 5% of any purchase you make if you're purchasing their content on Fortnite. They want to, oh yeah, and you have to promote your code and hope people, use it when you purchase. They have plans as part of Creator Economy 2.0 to distribute 40% of Fortnite's net revenue to eligible creators who publish games on Fortnite, which is a far more significant cut, though that is distribute 40% of the net revenue to them. Like, you're gonna have to see how that shakes out. But that's that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, like I'm always happy to see a revenue split for people who are creating things inside of a video game.
Yeah,
I know
I
Warframe
mean,
does it. I can't really, off the top of my head, name quite a few other
it'd be
games
nice if
or
Halo did it, but
yeah,
Halo's already having enough problems, so let's not stack more, I guess. Um, but I'm always a huge fan of user created content, and like, don't get me wrong, there is, once again, we'll have to see how this actually shakes out, and it is clear that Fortnite or Epic on the whole has decided to lean far more on like user created content and incentivizing that. And I just want those people to be paid fairly. If people are being compensated fairly, then yeah, cool, great, go for it. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But promising. It's definitely promising. Um, Additionally, Epic has announced a new first run program for their for the Epic Game Store. So if you for games that launch exclusively or in the first run program for the first 6 months of your launch, your game would be on the Epic Store, but you keep 100% of the revenue for that 6 months. That's pretty good. Um, it kind of seems like it's continuing Epic's trend of throwing money at everything to just really force their way in as a competitor to Steam.
mm-hmm.
And on one hand, I do understand like people don't like the Epic launcher. They get really mad about Epic. But like, hear me out. You can just not buy the game on the Epic store. You can just do that. Worst case, these studios that cut deals or take the deal with Epic, games out 6 months, considered early access. They get all the profits from it, and then they come to Steam. I
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of getting that. Yes, it's a very valuable point in time for the uh, for the dev team for the publisher of the game. You know, market not market, but
oh yeah,
returns wise. But from a piece like somebody who plays PC games, they man, we'll wait most of the
yeah.
time. You know, if
Epic
it doesn't
Games,
look good, we'll wait. We'll wait for games to. PlayStation games are coming to Steam. We'll wait.
and Epic Games will market your game. Like there is promotion. Promotion does happen, and look at things like Hades that were on Epic first, and like they did fine. It's not to say that every game will go that well, but it's to say that overall, I don't think that this will be bad for the average consumer or developer. However, let me say, because I know people get worked up about it, I'm not like a big Epic fan. Epic, if they had more control of the industry, if they actually had their foot in the door properly, yeah, they'd be doing shitty things all the time. Of course, they're a big company. Um, but like it's all companies and corporations, so like I don't know. It's I see this. I'm gonna take it as a win for developers who need some wins. So,
Yeah,
and no one no one's to say that this will work necessarily. That they will become equals with Steam, and it's not a bad thing for Steam to have some competition in the space. Don't really love the idea of Steam being in monopoly, and then we got people. I still like GOG's approach of like, hey, we're gonna bring back old games and no DRM. That's their way of setting themselves apart.
yeah,
But I don't know. Space continues to develop there. It's interesting.
uh, yeah. It's great for the people for developers who need a can't afford marketing,
Yep.
especially. I can't imagine any indie developers, that might see that as a great thing for them.
So I will say that that kind of wraps up my Epic news. All in all, kind of said already, but summarize. I'm cautiously optimistic about a lot of these changes. Like, I like seeing people enabled to make things. I like the tools being there. And I am a little excited to see how Fortnite continues to develop. One thing I did forget to mention is that Epic will develop future Battle Royale seasons on Fortnite in the Unreal Engine for Fortnite itself, starting next year.
Mhm.
Like that'll be their way to develop as well. So, it's clearly a very important tool for them. I know that there was some news about like it's 1,800 a year something now for non-game developers to license Epic, which is more affordable than it was before. I don't have a lot to say on that though, especially because this is a video game podcast, so non-developers is outside of our scope. But I thought I'd mention it. Other than that, I think I covered most of it, and yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but still doesn't mean I like Epic. I think Epic does a lot of scummy things. I think they make some weird, audacious moves. But at the end of the day, so much of it is when it comes to business stuff. I feel like that it falls firmly into TinyBigDude's purview, and so maybe we will get an update from him. I'd love to hear his thoughts. Maybe he can enlighten us more on that front.
Yeah, maybe when
Anything else
he
from you, Red?
maybe when he finishes his tiny business, he'll come here and get on the big business.
We really shouldn't mock a man who might be dead in the cushions.
I'm sure he's fine.
Did you work with the cushion beings? The Cushioниtes?
Fuck do you know about them?
And moving on. Okay, this is a pretty short one. Real simple story. Just want to say because it's weird. So didn't really talk about the company Toys for Developers, Toys from Bob, for Bob. Worked on the Crash Bandicoot games and Spyro games, as well as the what's the name of it? the toy one, Spyro game,
Oh,
Skylanders.
yeah, that's it, Skylanders.
Yeah. They left Activision, broke off, became their own independent studio. As of this week, Windows Central has reported that Microsoft will be funding the development of the studio's next unannounced game in a partnership deal. I guess they still have independence here, but it is remarkably strange to leave Microsoft and to rejoin Microsoft, or at least like partner with Microsoft immediately afterwards.
They just became a free market contractor.
Yeah, it's just weird vibes, but believe when they talked about, they said hold on to your horns. There's more news on the way, which some people have taken as they're gonna do more with Spyro, which maybe, we'll see. But yeah, not a whole lot to say. Just weird. I got one more story to hit before we move on to just what we've been playing, and Battlefront Collection's bad. I was right to be afraid, and I hate it.
Let me check the notes here. Battlefront Collection, bullet point, it's bad.
Yes. If you haven't seen online, if it hasn't made its way to you, the listener who also read, I assume you saw that. Sounds are not syncing correctly. The lag is unbearable. Servers are shit. They broke the game worse than the classic version that's already on the Steam Marketplace.
Jesus.
It's bad. And I was worried about this. I actually had our show notes for a previous episode as a peek behind the curtain, a story we didn't hit, which was when we were talking about this, I wanted to bring up some concerns over the state of KOTOR 2 when it came to Switch, because for one, they had advertised that there would be unreleased DLC content in the game that they said a third party had halted development of that, told them to stop, so it just wasn't coming, which sucked. And they had also never they didn't include some patches. If you took the dark side path, you actually couldn't complete the game. And that story kind of fell by the wayside. We had more important things to talk about. I've tried to do research into it, but I had to admit I came up short on trying to figure out if the patch ever actually released, because they said they would release a patch to fix it. Don't know if they did. But yeah, that's my bad. That's my oversight. I will say, Battlefront Collection, they did say they will be patching it and trying to fix it, and a big patch has already hit. It did fix a lot of issues. However, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is $30.
$30 for a game that came out in 2005. They've only had nearly 20 years to get this thing to work.
Damn! Don't put it in context like that. That makes me feel so ancient.
I can't really say when they started working on porting it over, but it's kind of upsetting that you would fumble this bag.
It was such a slam dunk. People were excited. But you know what? Where corporations fail, fans sometimes pick up the slack, which is my transition into stuff I've been playing. So I haven't gotten deep into it yet, but been looking at, or I saw someone recommend, just go buy Battlefront 2 Classic. It's $10. You can still get in online games. And there's a remastered mod that's already very well done and online compatible.
Oh,
I went through the installation, very easy to install.
Speaking of that, mods for the classic version, I wish I had actually copied the source and knew some more about it.
That just make it other sci-fi universe.
But the what are they calling this new Battlefront 2 remaster release thing?
The Classic Collection. collection.
The classic collection apparently might have some people's mods baked in without credit.
Cool.
But
Always love to see.
I'm gonna say that anecdotally because I only saw some murmurings about it. But moving back to what
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
saying.
So, but playing around with that, I'm looking to do some stuff with that within our own personal friend group in the near future. But I encourage any listeners got friends want to play Battlefront 2 with them? Go get that. Go do that. It currently, I believe, has more players than the classic collection. It's made people flock back to it. So it's worth
Yeah,
looking at.
yeah. People tend to do
Um,
that when a bad version of a game comes out.
Other stuff I've been doing, um, Guardian games for Destiny 2. Fun. Had a good time. Cleared my quest sheet on there, and looking
Today
forward.
was today the last day for that?
Yeah, today was the last day. Starting I think April 7th. I think that's when Into the Light drops. We had another preview today. I actually still need to watch it where they're showing off the weapons coming to the game. If you're wondering why we didn't cover that more, I mean, what's there to say?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
I'd rather
Looking forward to. Hmm?
they that first video that they did talking about the new game mode that's coming
Yeah.
in the most polite way that could have been an email. It was a lot of
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was the
It,
delivery.
it
It felt like the guys weren't truly prepared.
I don't know. It was weird. It just kind of felt like it genuinely could have been, hey, we're doing horde mode, but I don't know. They're trying to build hype, I guess, and I am excited. Like I like horde mode back from Gears of War, so I'm more than excited to like get my hands on it. But it'll tide me over for the final shape. But yeah, not a lot to say there. Two, or I've got a few more things that's
Oh,
going to be
what
coming.
is the what is the mode in Titanfall 2 where there's a bunch of AIs running around, but
Frontier
also
Defense
no. Where there's a bunch of AI
attrition.
attrition. Attrition mode in Destiny would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. That would be good. It'd be real fun. Well, they started to kind of do that. You know what? They started to do that with Iron Banner, but we'll talk about that another time. They so with Tiny, I did play Hunt Showdown some more, which I tend to just play with him as like that is a game he is very into, and I tend to join him just to have fun, play together. But I'm not in as much. But I wanted to compare it to another game I played for the first time with him, Valorant, which is a popular game. It's not like it's an unknown thing. Ended up enjoying it quite a bit. Weird points of comparison in terms of like both games have a greater focus on like I'm sure you noticed from when you played it, Red, that like Hunt, if you're moving while you're shooting, you ain't hitting much. A good deal at the time.
Yeah.
And Valorant also has a healthy dose of that. We watched a guy just whiff like 10, 10 shots at close range,
Yeah.
like a revolver. It was embarrassing. But
You have kind of the same
um,
thing in Helldivers 2
yeah.
where you got to know how to
Oh
aim.
yeah, it does have that.
Yeah, definitely
I
nowhere near as bad though, I would say. But
trying a little bit more to get into Helldivers, but I don't have a whole lot that's unique to say. But I find them interesting because they both have a very I guess it would be low time to kill or high time to kill. I always get weird, and it's always weird how to describe it. I guess it just you die fast. You die real fucking fast. But I gotta admit, I kind of lean more towards Valorant. Valorant, what, and you might like it, Red. I don't know for sure if you've ever tried it. But what I do like about Valorant is, don't get me wrong, Hunt. the downtime can be sometimes enjoyable, hanging out with friends and stuff. But there's a lot of downtime. Valorant, there's not a lot of downtime. Those rounds go quick. You're back in the action very fast. You just want to play with a group, is my main takeaway. And so, final thing is I've had more of a game week this past week. I've been dabbling with a lot of stuff. Pacific Drive. I started the other night. I did a unique stream in Chinese Discord where I actually just deafened and muted because I wanted. It's a game with. It wasn't quite as solitary as I thought it would be, but there were plenty of solitary moments. And I kind of wanted to take that in, but I wanted people watching to just. I wanted to get eyes on it. Idea is in 1950s, people were doing experiments in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of people started disappearing over time as they made advancements, and eventually the area was evacuated. There's a big wall around it. You get pulled through the wall, and you have a car that it is your shelter a lot of the time from a lot of hazards. And there's this dynamic of like you're going out, you're scavenging for parts and things to upgrade the car. I'm skipping over a lot, but I like this dynamic of you're traveling around and taking care of this thing that and upgrading this thing over time that is your lifeline. And it's a fun time. I got at one point propelled like 50 feet in the air by a rising piece of rock that just launched the car. It was very funny and a good time overall. I'm not deep into it yet, but I thought it was a fun time. I guess that's all for this week. There weren't any other notable games that came out. So I guess that's the episode. Anything you want to say, Red?
I will. I will get my couch people army and suck you into the cushions just like I did
You're
Tiny.
feeling a little dogmatic right now.
Absolutely, I am.
Let's hit it.
Okay.
I want to knock out that stuff because I knew.
Yeah. So Dragon's Dogma 2 is a game that I personally have been looking forward to, but also wanting for a very, very long time. Because I played the original. I was in the original, around its release time. I didn't hop on during Dark Arisen. I can flash some OG status here. But it is a combat focused kind of fantasy open world RPG game. Directed by Hideki Itsuno, the guy who did Devil May Cry. So it's going to be a very the combat's going to feel good, and it does feel great. But the game is clunky in ways that are intentional that a lot of the internet did not like and still does not like. There's only one save file. They want your decisions to matter. And one of the biggest complaints I keep seeing is, why is there only one save file? I want to make multiple characters. Without diving into too much, you're not supposed to. The game is made for just like your one guy. That's your one guy. You can do every class with your one guy, but that you're supposed to just have the one guy. No multiplayer. So it's not like an MMO situation where you want to have like ones in different areas or something. Different I guess they call it like worlds or something.
So that does bring up a thing I heard discussed on a podcast I'm a fan of, Castle Super Beast, where the host Pat had brought up that like Dragon's Dogma is weird because they're really invested in the pawn system, and as he put it, it's check out these pawns. It's so cool. It's like a fake MMO. Oh, cool. Can I play with friends? No. Like,
no, you cannot.
It's so weird.
What's
it's
even
not a bad thing? It's just a weird thing.
What's even weirder is there was a Dragon's Dogma Oh, that was Japan only. That's neither here nor
Oh, I
there.
didn't know that.
But so yeah, like the pawn system is you basically create your character and then you create a pawn. Then everybody else who's playing the game also creates a pawn, and it's basically just a second character, AI controlled, that follows you around. But you can also have a party of up to 4 characters, and what you do is you go to these things called a Rift Crystal, and you can hire other people's pawns to adventure with you. And they take the knowledge they learn and any items you equip them with, or specifically send back with them when you send them home. They'll take that back to their owner's world, their Arisen's world, and it's neat because I'm using a friend's right now, and right now they're a little bit ahead of me, and they're just constantly like, "Hey, this quest, I know what to do. Follow me. I'll take you to the we need to get a ripened pear for this guy. I know where to pick pears at. Follow me." And it's very fun. I really appreciate that. I like it's like seeing what it's like people just throwing their children out in the ether, and you're just like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, you kind of remind me of my friend. Come on."
I would like to know why. So pawns, they're kind of molded by your experiences and with them. So, in a group chat we have, your pawn pushed a friend off a cliff. So, what you been up to?
I've been jumping off cliffs. They learn by watching you. And I've been jumping off cliffs. The thing is, the class I'm playing, I have a few things I can do to mitigate fall damage. My pawn does not. So it's just jumping off a cliff to get to places faster, and it is
Right.
just splatting on the ground, and sometimes it backfires and it ends up somewhere it either can't get back from or dies. Because swimming is not a thing in this game. The whole
Yeah.
ocean is just fucked up. Do not get in the water; you will die instantly.
Oh, I would like to do a fun shout out real quick. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I mentioned Castle Super Base. I would just like to say from a podcaster that no one is listening to, congratulations to Wooly Wolves for becoming an official pawn in Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, yeah. I actually
He
favorited
is
him.
one of
He
the
was
official ones.
the
Yeah.
very first day he was in like rank 5 or something. So
Mm.
I favorited him so I could find him easier again. I don't know if these official pawns level up or not, or if you just need to add the actual creator and get the actual pawn from their game. It's a little confusing. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's been a few things with the game. It hasn't had the best optimization for CPU intensive instead of all GPU intensive. Memory leaks, a lot of things that have become kind of standard. Uh, I give the
I
game
hate
a
a
lot
memory
of
leak.
I give the game a lot of breath because I love this game. I love this game.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really mad though, and I understand, but I can't really. The game is so fun.
I I had to get in. I've just been it's intimidating. I got to that character creator and went, I'm tired. Work went long. I'll get back to it. And then all the stuff I mentioned, like I did over the weekend with Tiny. So getting back up
I
there.
will advise going through that character creator again because it is maybe you can make it very straightforward unless you want to do the detailed customization. Because
Oh, I saw. That's why I didn't actually finish making a character. I said, no, I'll do this when I got I'm more awake.
if only they released a character creator a week or two before, and you went ahead and made your character and got through all that.
Yeah, but they didn't do that, so that's fine.
Yeah,
I didn't miss out on anything.
true. They didn't make a Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator.
Nope,
No,
definitely did not.
definitely did not do that. Oh, people are also mad about the DLC in the game, but this has been a Capcom
Uh,
standard since like Monster
yeah.
Hunter World.
Also, from what I've heard, they didn't. I've heard people complain about like, oh no, they made it more difficult to get these items in the game now, so they want you to buy things. To which, from what I've seen, it's exactly the same as it was in Dragon's Dogma 1. So those people are maybe being hyperbolic.
Yeah, you can get all of the items in game. There's except for maybe the pre-order special weapons, which you can
Yeah.
probably still get uh, depending on how you buy the game. But they're not like you'll outclass those pretty quick. And all the items that you can pre-order, or I'm sorry, that you can pay real money for, not very. You can come upon them pretty handedly. The only one that is maybe not very easy to find is the port crystal item. The game only has one fast travel point by default. The rest of them you have to find the item or buy the item, and they're very hard to come by. And then you can place it wherever you want on the map and have a fast travel point. That's the only one I
Oh,
kind of have issue with, just because of how the game is supposed to be about making hard, hard decisions about what you want to do.
yeah.
Uh, but by no means is this a hard game. I definitely do not want you to think, anyone to think that Dragon's Dogma is a difficult, like a very difficult game. It's definitely not super easy, but it's not. It's not. A lot of people compare it to Dark Souls and say it's like it's Dark Souls of RPGs or something. I don't know. Dark Souls is the RPG. It's mm, it's not as hard. Like you're not going to be beating your head against the same boss over and over and over because the answer there is just go level up some more. Whereas Dark Souls, at some for some bosses, it really doesn't matter how high your level is.
I I did find myself flashing back to Dark Souls when I started up the game, just because like that. I don't know if it's just a unified thing Capcom's doing with their menus or what, but it's a very Dark Souls menu when you start
Oh
the
yeah,
main.
yeah. But the menu does evolve as you play the game.
Okay. Um, let's see. Honestly, I'm go wild. The rest of the show is yours, pretty much. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to talk about?
Uh, if we have the time, I'd like to talk a little bit about how Helldivers 2 is doing its kind of evolving story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, they
Do you
recently
want to
had
talk about sex?
talk about what?
Sex.
So Helldivers 2 uh
I'm
had
talking about Helldivers too. You failed. You failed the objective, and now sex is banned in the galaxy. You did that,
and
and
you
you don't
gotta
want to take responsibility for
sex isn't banned. You have to fill out a form, democracy form to have sex.
it. Sex is restricted.
Sex is restricted. Anyway, um so there's things called minor orders and major orders, and minor orders are like daily tasks, and major orders are something that everybody playing the game, spanning the PlayStation community and the PC community, crossplay, work towards together. And they recently did a thing where they basically set off planet-wide insecticide, and it was like, hey, it's working, until it didn't. And the next day, there was like very rare occurrences of a new enemy type for the bugs, and it's a flying bug. I fought against it, and it is terrifying. However, it is
No, I'm pretty sure the developers and the Super Earth communications from Super Earth said that there's no such extra enemy in the game. So
exactly, and that's what I like to talk about because they are using social media as to gaslight intentionally gaslight, I guess, the community. They're like, no, there's no flying bugs, and then there's flying bugs in the game. Like they're doing it on purpose, and it's fun. And then like eventually, it's like they put out like a PSA in the game where where Super Earth is just like the bugs have evolved. They're now flying bugs. Reports have been coming since last week, and it's like they're tying what we're talking about in today into what they do in the game tomorrow, and I really
You
enjoy
have to
that.
wonder what other secret things are going to hit eventually.
That is a hard question to answer,
Like,
but
how long is this game just going to have secret releases of content?
I
It's going to create the most paranoid fan base.
and the game is kind of hard when you're like at even there's 9 difficulties. Even when you're at difficulty 5, the game is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing, especially if your team is not focused.
Yeah, I've been there.
But that's all I really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to mention it because it's going to keep changing. They're going to keep doing more with it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying the game a lot.
Fuck you to the random I was playing with who kept killing me with their mech.
Wouldn't be
Just put in
me.
chat. These things are hard to control. Thanks, man.
These mechs.
Should we try to get Tiny out of the cushions?
We can try.
Do we want to try?
That's the thing. I don't know if he's conscious enough to understand we're trying to get him out of the cushions.
Look, between you and me, Red, Ty tried to kill you a while back. I don't know if you know this.
What?
It was wild, man. I did everything I could to stop him, but
Why don't I remember this?
it's the whole thing. I'll tell you about later.
Okay,
Anyways,
we're gonna take a break, and I'm gonna learn about my own murder, I guess, and whether or not to pull this man out of the cushions.
he might stay in the cushions.
He might stay in the cushions. We'll see next week, won't we?
We'll see.
We are trapped here by a wizard.
We are trapped here by a wizard. Have a good week, everyone. Are we still here?
We're still here, but I hit stop streaming. I hit stop streaming.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's like how long?
I hit stop streaming, and I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for reality to catch up. I'm waiting for Twitch to catch up to reality.
Okay. I gotta